As the AAPI community mourns the murders in Atlanta, students share how you can best support your Asian peers.
Japan's LGBT community may be headed for a victory, but gay Japanese students say there's a long way to go.
No proof, no problem. Experts weigh in on line cutters for the COVID-19 vaccine.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
It feels like there is a mental strain. There's a strain in every sense from the past year. And this is not a surprising kind of progression. And I think anyone who feels shocked needs to actually look a little deeper at the events of the past year and realize that this is something that has been brewing for so long.
USC senior Leela Nee is one of the many members of the AAPI community sharing their pain after a gunman targeted Asian spas near Atlanta. Good evening. I'm Annalise Tuskin reporting from Los Angeles.
And I'm Savannah Welch reporting from San Diego. 8 people are dead, 6 of them Asian women. These murders are just a few of the thousands of anti-Asian hate incidents that have occurred since the start of the pandemic. The police named 4 of the victims: Delana Ashley Yan, Paul Andre Michaels, Hiao Yutan, and Diao Jufang. They were killed at Young's Asian Massage in Georgia. The shooter has been charged with 8 counts of murder. Tonight, many students are feeling the pain of these hate crimes. Reporter MADDIE GANNON spoke with Asian students about how their peers can best support them.
After the deadly shootings in Atlanta yesterday, young Asian Americans are sharing the pain it is causing.
It feels like our community is under threat. And so when I heard the news yesterday, it was very devastating, and, it was a lot to process, but, it was just a culmination of everything that's been going on. And
over the past year, thousands of Asian Americans have faced hate crimes. Stop AAPI Hate reported 3,795 attacks from March last year to February this year.
It's something that I think a little more palpably than other people, because my grandfather was murdered in New York in 2014. And his murder was not classified legally as a hate crime. My family did push for that, but it was not ruled as that. And today, with the press hearing from the police department in Atlanta, and that guy calling this, just a white man having a bad day, that is absolutely insulting.
It's incredibly fatiguing, emotionally, mentally, even physically, because as you can imagine, stress and even grief really wears you down. And it's so hard to get through the day sometimes.
We talked to students about how they want support from their peers and networks.
First and foremost, listen to your Asian American friends, validate their experiences and their feelings. Because, people can say that, oh, these weren't labeled as hate crimes, but that doesn't change how the Asian American community feels about them.
I think most of it is just educating yourself, because I don't think a lot of people know what the root of all of this is, but obviously it's been going on for a while.
I think it is so important, to be active online right now and to voice support and to share resources.
Services such as the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, Partners Against Hate, and the Center for the Prevention of Hate Violence provide support for those who experience a hate crime. All of the students emphasize the importance of reaching out to Asian students and checking in on their well-being right now. For Annenberg Media, I'm MADDIE GANNON in Los Angeles.
Today, LA leaders got together to talk about the increase in hate crimes against Asians. Human rights activists from diverse racial, religious, and cultural backgrounds discussed what can be done to prevent these crimes.
More Asian women are being attacked, more than ever. It's unprecedented. And right now, just a mile away from here, we have elderly people in Chinatown who are afraid to go out and exercise and do what they do, walk. They're afraid to do that. And it's unacceptable.
The increase in violence against Asian Americans is taking its toll on Asian American reporters covering these crimes. Annenberg Media's Ella KATZ talked with 3 of those journalists. For them, this is personal.
Frances Wang is a USC alum and reporter for CBS News based in Miami.
Last night when I heard the news, I was sick to my stomach and I couldn't sleep. Asians are being attacked for no reason, right? There's no understandable motive here. Asians are kind of known not to report to police. They're known not to culturally, we're taught not to speak up and keep our head down and do the work and ignore the hate, ignore the racism. And so it's a lot of younger Asian Americans like myself speaking up on behalf of our elders. After this, I need to make an appointment with my therapist because there's a lot to debrief personally and professionally.
LA Times reporter and Annenberg alum Ann Doe says that covering these hate crimes hits close to home.
The deadline, the flow keeps you on your toes. But when you sit down and start reviewing your tweets and reading the private messages that some of the online personalities, private or public, send to you, it can be quite startling. Like you're literally sometimes frozen in your chair. What I try to put in perspective is that, we're the vehicle, we're the vessel, we're the messenger to illuminate, to amplify quieter voices.
The Asian American Journalists Association released guidelines on how newsrooms can best report on these hate crimes. The AAJA advises journalists to choose their words carefully, provide context in their reporting, make a conscious effort to diversify sources, and, as always, empower and support Asian journalists, both in and out of the newsroom.
When I do cover stories like this, I definitely don't try to get the emotional side of me affect how I report. I just really hope people are aware that both any Asian and even Asian reporters, we're all impacted by this. I just try to keep that optimism, that positivity going, because I know how important it is to really tell those stories of people who need their voice to be heard.
The Annenberg chapter of the Asian American Journalist Association will be continuing the conversation on a virtual panel Thursday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. For Annenberg Media, I'm Ella KATZ in Manhattan Beach.
The American Cross-Cultural Student Association is holding a virtual event Thursday night about the increase in violence against Asian Americans. To report incidents, visit the Stop Asian American Pacific Islander Hate website. For mental health support in the Los Angeles area, visit the LA County Department of Mental Health Line website. For additional support in the Los Angeles area, visit the 211la.org website and search for the Special Service for Groups Asian Pacific Islander Mental Health Alliance page.
For the first time, a Japanese court has ruled in favor of same-sex marriage. Reporter Taylor MILLINER speaks with a woman from Japan who identifies as a lesbian and an expert on Japanese culture.
A Japanese district court ruled that the country's ban on same-sex marriage is unconstitutional. The only country in Asia that has legalized same-sex marriage is Taiwan in 2019. A dancer from Japan who identifies as a lesbian sees the ruling as a positive first step.
It's exciting to me, but I think it's gonna take a long time because people don't have any idea about anything, like really anything about gay community, lesbian, that there is a transgender, and they don't have any idea of it. And the reason why I don't really talk about it to my parents, because if I say, guess what, I'm lesbian in the FaceTime, right? But if I don't have physical girlfriend, I don't think they understand what that exactly meaning.
An associate USC professor in the Department of Comparative Literature says that this is only a baby step and there is still a long process ahead.
This was from a regional court in Sapporo. There are other regional courts, including those in Tokyo and Osaka, who are handling similar cases being brought on by same-sex couples in different areas of Japan. And so we'll just have to kind of watch and wait, see how it goes, and then see whether the whole thing gets kicked up to the Supreme Court.
Same-sex marriage will be recognized in Japan only if Parliament enacts legislation.
For Annenberg Media, I am Taylor Milliner.
People with health conditions and disabilities are now eligible for the vaccine, but medical officials are expressing concern over the lax regulation process that could keep these high-risk communities from getting vaccinated. New eligible groups are not required to show medical proof at vaccination sites. This could create opportunity for fraud and manipulation. Line cutting is already a major problem in California, and vaccination supplies are still limited. Officials are urging people to wait their turn and follow the honor system.
This sort of community approach to supporting people in your community who are really suffering by asking people to wait till they're eligible. So part of it is the culture of encouragement. So it's not that we should require proof, but that we should create a culture that really nudges people to do the right thing. I think it's a real tension. I think part of it is how we create a culture of people trying to respect the rules and understand the rules, and how we also create a culture of doing the hard work of reaching out to the vulnerable populations who are not getting it to try to have them get it sooner, including and especially people with intellectual and developmental disabilities who are at the highest risk of morbidity and mortality from COVID, and as well as racial and socioeconomic populations that are at higher risk.
People with disabilities or underlying health conditions are not the only ones next in line to receive a vaccine. Also included among the newly eligible are people living in high-risk facilities such as prisons or homeless shelters and public transportation workers.
Many Americans are finding extra money in their bank accounts. The newest round of $1,400 stimulus checks is on the way, but for some people who don't have a fixed address and a bank account, it can be almost impossible to get the cash. A random tweet going viral says, "If you are homeless, you can go to a tax return office where they will file something called an economic impact payment, or EIP. They will put the money on a debit card after." But the tweet left out some vital information. Normally, the stimulus money goes directly into bank accounts using tax return information. If you are homeless, you can free file a tax return with proof of U.S. citizenship, a social security number, and an address. Without an address, you can use a local post office, church, or homeless shelter.
Nearly 3 million women in the U.S. have dropped out of the labor force in the past year due to COVID-19. Reporter Lillian Gonzalez talks about ways women are supporting each other through these tough times.
The We Suite, a community that brings ambitious women together, launched an initiative called 2 Million Mentor Minutes. Women and men in leadership positions are invited to donate 60 minutes of their time to serve as a mentor to women who have lost jobs.
I think that it is incredibly important for women to support other women on all their endeavors, be it personal or professional. And I wanted to make sure that I was there for my fellow female journalists who might be looking for a change or might be looking to re-enter the workforce and needed a little hand.
USC adjunct professor Stacy Leska joined the movement by posting on Instagram about donating her time to help other young women in re-entering the workforce. Although women and recent graduates are struggling to find jobs, some have found ways to create their own opportunities. 2 USC alums teamed up and created a podcast called Opportunity Unknown for job seekers and early career professionals.
We only exist because of the pandemic. I for sure would not have thought to create a podcast if there was not a pandemic.
We really weren't expecting to graduate into the economy that we did. I don't know what would have happened. I don't know what the alternative future would have been. But in both of our minds, we hoped and kind of expected to have graduated and have jobs right away.
With over 4,000 downloads, both alums have been able to connect with others who have also been impacted by this pandemic. More than 2.3 million have left the workforce since February 2020. According to CNBC, women have accounted for 100% of the jobs lost. We are living a time where women need to uplift each other, build a network, and get creative. For Annenberg Media, I'm Lillian Gonzalez.
In honor of Women's History Month, we are highlighting women who inspire us. Annenberg Media's Gabby Sorrentino explains how her mother continues to be a role model and her hero.
My mom is a fertility nurse and also worked in labor and delivery. She's not only my superhero, but also her patient's superhero. She always put me and my sister first, even when my parents got divorced. She is the most selfless person I know. She attended all of my horseback riding competitions, always supported my biggest dreams, and even moved out of her dream home to be closer to our school and the barn, cutting our commute from 40 to 10 minutes. Meanwhile, her work commute got even longer. Although my mom lives on the other side of the country, she finds time in her busy schedule to talk to me every single day.
Yeah.
Good, how are you? How was your day?
It's good. It's snowing here.
Oh yeah, how much did you guys get?
About 2 inches.
Did Tori go in the snow? Where is she?
Say hi, guys.
Hi, Tori.
It's like, no, I didn't go to the snow. It's too cold.
Being a single parent has not always been easy for my mom, but she never shows it. Her strength, selflessness, and love are all reasons why she is my woman superhero.
Okay, 2 things. 1, it's March, and 2, I'm feeling pretty mad.
Going off of that, let's see what's happening in the world of sports.
Hi, I'm Lachelle Smith reporting from Los Angeles. The USC men's basketball team touched down in Indianapolis on Monday for March Madness. Head coach Andy Enfield and freshman forward Evan Mobley say the atmosphere is completely different in the bubble.
A lot of USC people would normally be here if not for the pandemic. My family flies in tomorrow and I would not be able to see them. So they'll be in a different hotel, have no interaction with them other than to wave to my wife and 3 children in the stands.
We have to do things a little differently. Can't really go anywhere by ourselves. We got to let people know what we're doing. But it's a great experience so far. I would like it to be like normal, like in the past years, but it is how it is with coronavirus and everything, but it's great so far.
At Lucas Oil Stadium, the Trojans have their own floor, conference room, and practice court. They're able to be only with each other throughout their entire time in the tournament. Coach Enfield knows the isolation is necessary, but was excited to know his team would finally get some much needed fresh air for a team photo outside the stadium. And I'm joined by my co-anchor, Sydney Rocket. Sydney, who do you have in your Final Four of your March Madness bracket?
You know, my Final Four, I have Gonzaga, Bama, Arkansas, and Illinois, and I have Illinois taking it all. What about you?
Ooh, I have Gonzaga, I have Texas, I have Illinois, and I have Ohio State. And I have Gonzaga winning the whole thing.
We have 2 of the same, but no. I have Gonzaga and Illinois is in the championship, but Illinois is going to win it all.
Well, see, a lot of people don't think the Zag are going to get past the first round, but I have hope in them. I have belief. Jalen Suggs, I think they're going to take the whole thing.
I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
How far do you have USC going?
I don't have them getting past the second round. Realistically, I just don't see it.
I at least have them in the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. I want them to go far. Don't get me wrong. But me personally, I just don't see it happening.
I don't see anyone stopping Evan Mobley, but I guess that's just one of those things that we'll have to see. But the USC men's basketball team isn't the only team heading into the NCAA tournament.
USC men's water polo will make its 16th straight NCAA tournament appearance tomorrow. The Trojans are an at-large pick and are also hosting the event. UCLA versus Cal Baptist kicks off the tournament tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And the Trojans will host Bucknell at 4. The winner of UCLA and Cal Baptist will face Stanford next. The winner of USC and Bucknell will face Cal Berkeley. The NCAA champions will be crowned on Sunday. USC last faced Bucknell in the opening round matchup at the NCAA tournament in 2019. The Trojans had a solid 15-9 win and are seeking another win tomorrow. The Trojans are entering the tournament as the number 3 seed and are eyeing their 11th national title. They won the championships in 8 of the last 15 runs, with the last championship coming in 2018. You can catch men's water polo in action tomorrow at 4 p.m. The tournament will be streamed on NCAA Live. That's all for sports. Now back to news.
USC has partnered with Children's Hospital of Los Angeles to create a unique facility where cell therapies will be created to cure diseases and disorders. This new resource will begin operating in 2022 near the Health Sciences campus. Researchers will study cells that could potentially cure diseases such as cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. The executive director of the new facility hopes the research will provide USC students with advanced study. The facility will be in the basement of the Harlan Norris Research Tower at the Health Sciences campus.
One thing that we will be working toward is to have an educational programs in place where fellows and undergrad, postgrad can engage and can learn more about GMP and add to their profile and skills.
California voters will help pay for the facility after voting yes last year on a proposition supporting stem cell research. Now we turn to Mimi Geller and a brand new segment.
Today we are hosting a new game show called Why Is It Trending, where we look at the top stories trending on Twitter and have students guess why they're getting so much attention. I will be reading the hashtags and give contestants 3 options to choose from. Whoever gets the most correct wins the game.
Hi, ATVN is doing a new segment game show where we look at today's trending stories and have students guess why they're trending. I'm here with Jared and Pilar. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Super excited.
I'm so hyped. I love a good competition.
Awesome. Okay, so our first question is the hashtag Disneyland is trending right now on Twitter. So is that because A, Disneyland has fully begun the process of acquiring AT&T in order to implement a new kind of service known as Disney 5G? B, a police report has been leaked about the head of Walt Disney's going missing? Or C, Disney will be using an old COVID site into a theme park in an attempt to regain lost profits? Okay, C, Pilar is correct. Good job. Disneyland Resort became a coronavirus vaccination site earlier this year, and now instead the site is going to reopen as a theme park with limited capacity starting April 30th. So today on Twitter, Proud of Zayn is trending. Is that because Zayn announced today that he collaborated with Ingrid Michaelson for a new song called To Begin Again? B, fans are celebrating Zayn's Grammy win for this past Sunday, where he won Album of the Year for Nobody's Listening. Or C, Zayn tweeted today that he will be working with his girlfriend, Gigi Hadid, on a new album, which will be the first time the world will hear her sing. Which one is it?
Now.
Okay, Jared, C. Okay, that's actually incorrect. Unfortunately, he's not collaborating with Gigi. Pilar, do you have, Pilar, you said A. A, yep, that is correct. So Ingrid Michaelson released a new song today, and it features Zayn, and they released a lyric video today. It's called To Begin Again. There's also merch, and yeah. So good job. So Pilar is our winner. Congratulations. Great job.
I don't know how you know all those answers, Pilar.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I say? I'm Disney fanatic. I remember the TikTok trend where they were like rinsing off the strawberries and all this stuff was coming out of it. And then I just assumed that Gigi can't sing and he didn't win Album of the Year. So process of elimination on that one.
That's good.
There. Well, good job, both of you.
Congratulations, Pilar. Hopefully she enjoys receiving our virtual trophy. Back to you, Savannah and Annalise.
That's it for Annenberg TV News. Remember to support the Asians in your life, today and always.
From everyone at Annenberg Media, have a great night.